to this week's video about the Syrian hamster. This is specifically Syrian hamsters, so it won't be Russian hamsters or Robodrowski hamsters or anything like that, just the Syrian hamsters. Today is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to everyone. I got my mother some gifts the other day for Mother's Day, and I got her a nice chocolate and some other things. So today we'll be learning about the Syrian hamster. So they come in lots of different variations, and I used to have a hamster myself. I'll fix it later. So this was my hamster. His name was Albert. He lived 2 years, which is the average lifespan. They live 2 to 3 years. He was a wild type teddy Syrian hamster, and he lived the average long hamster life. We think he was a male, So his name was Albert Einstein, but we just call him Albert. So he was a wild type hamster, that's the coloration. This is a wild type. So the colors are beige, black, blonde, brown, chocolate, cream, dove, golden, grey, lilac, mink, sable, tan, white, wild type. So, of course, they are found in Syria due to their name, and they also can be found in parts of Turkey. And they can go 3 to 6 miles per hour. They have very small legs. And they're 13 to 18 centimeters. Next video I have to bring my ruler. And they live 2 to 3 years is the average lifespan, but some can live about 4 years if you're lucky, if you've got a very healthy, well cared for one. So they are tame, they are curious, they're aware, they're cautious, very solitary, they're territorial, and they're very funny. And they're also very cute. My hamster was very funny. He'd do loads of funny things all the time. One thing he didn't do that was funny though was escape his enclosure 2 times. That wasn't funny. But they're very intelligent for such a small little animal. They're very smart. Some people call them the golden hamster, because of course most of them are a nice goldish color. And the hamsters with more long fur, they're called teddy bear hamsters, which Albert was a teddy bear hamster. He had a bit longer fur. And males are more fluffy and fuzzy than the females usually. So Albert was very fluffy, so I think he was a male. And they love to dig and burrow and sleep in their burrows. And their burrows can be 10 feet deep. And burrows have lots of chambers. There's a sleeping chamber, a chamber with food. There's loads of different chambers for different things. It's like a house with all the rooms. They're probably one of the most popular hamster breeds. The dwarf hamster is also quite popular, but these are very popular because of their size and friendliness. They're very solitary because, of course, when they're babies, they can stay together, but it's recommended not to keep, actually not recommended, definitely don't keep two Syrian hamsters, or really any type of hamster together, because they're solitary animals and they could end up fighting. Syrian hamsters don't drink a lot of water because the habitat they live in doesn't have as much water. They're more of a desert kind of hamster. They're very endangered in the wild with only 5,000 left. Of course, in the wild they're endangered. In the pet trade, they are very popular. But in the wild, some hamsters, unreliable sources, like illegal or unreliable sources, unfortunately, will take the hamsters from the wild. But most sources are probably sustainable and they breed them in a proper area, not from the wild. So if you would like a pet Syrian hamster, if you want one, here are some of important things that you'll need because, of course, people say hamsters are the best beginner pet for a child, but no pet is an easy pet to care for, not even a stick insect. Every pet needs care. They all need food, water, a big enough enclosure, and love. So, of course, there is no easy beginner pet. That's fake. Really, the easiest way to own a pet is to look after the pet well. That's an easy pet. So, I don't recommend using wire mesh cages. I recommend glass. Because sometimes if a hamster gets upset or bored, and they will start chewing on the wire metal, which isn't good for them. Don't use wooden enclosures either. I made that mistake. I used a wooden enclosure my first time, and he chewed a hole in it, but we got a new enclosure. They love to dig, as I said, so their bedding should be more than 6 inches deep, over 6 inches. Definitely much more because, of course, they love to dig. They can get warm, especially the teddy bear ones, especially in summer as well. So make sure there's plenty of air holes in the enclosure. They are geniuses, and they're good at escaping. Mine, Albert Einstein, suited him very well because he escaped twice. So make sure the enclosure is safe. Don't use wood. Make sure you always keep the doors shut if you're ever done playing with them. My hamster especially loved banana. I don't know if it's with every hamster, but he loves bananas. Of course, you will need to feed them the normal hamster food you can get from the store in packets, like little pellets. But that's not all you should feed them, because then their diet won't be that good and it'll be very boring. So, like fresh vegetables like apple, carrot, broccoli, celery, seeds, walnuts, and spinach. Albert likes spinach. The chickens like spinach too. They love to move and run around, so their cage should be quite big. Now, Syrian hamsters don't really climb as much, but so it's more the floor space you want, but you still want it to be quite tall enough. You don't want it too tall though, but mostly for Syrian hamsters especially, it's just you want the ground to be big. So probably 24 inches long and probably 12 inches high, and probably some people go a bit more than that, which is good. The bigger the better, because the hamster will be much happier the bigger. And they have very large front teeth. They have 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. Rodent teeth never stop growing. They never, always keep growing. So they can easily chew through lots of things like wood. And if them teeth get too long, they could start hurting the hamster, and you might need a vet visit. And not a lot of vets will take hamsters. Most vets just do dogs and cats. If I do recommend getting little chew toys, wooden chew toys. Make sure their water bottle isn't too high or low, because if it's too low, when they're trying to drink, they could end up breaking their neck, unfortunately. That has happened, not to me, but I have heard of people that unfortunately their water bottle was placed too low and their hamster ended up hurting itself trying to drink. And you don't want it too high, because then it might not be able to reach it. So probably measure, see how much your hamster can stand up on its 2 legs, and depending on that, you could kind of find out, depending on the size of your hamster. And make sure their wheel isn't too small, because some hamsters, if their wheel is too small and they get on it, they could end up bending their back too much. So you don't want, you want a nice big wheel, because lots of wheels are made for smaller hamsters like Robo-Dravsky hamsters and dwarf hamsters and Chinese hamsters. And Syrian hamsters are some of the largest domestic hamsters. Do not use cotton wool for hamster bed. It's very dangerous for them, because the cotton wool can get tangled around their teeth, limbs, ears, anything, their tail, their feet, anything. It could get tangled around them and stop blood flow or even strangle them. So you should use sawdust, like wood shavings, or even little bits of ripped up tissue paper, because that's nice and soft for them, especially for sleeping. And do not bathe your hamsters in water, because hamsters they can swim, not very well though, and they hate water. So a good way they can get clean themselves is you can get a little tub, a small one that they can fit in, and you can fill it with chinchilla bat. Chinchilla bat sand is a special kind of sand that's safe for rodents like chinchillas and hamsters and stuff. So I recommend that instead of water. Don't use water. So that's all you need to know for caring for a pet hamster and other facts about hamsters in general. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. The answer to last week's question is the bat, the only mammal that can fly. The only mammal that can fly. This week's question: mammals can lay eggs. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.